All right, welcome to episode 10, Politicking with Jira Larry Love. Very excited. Big episode today, episode 10, brought to you today by Becker Custom Homes, the Lauren Maxwell team. Happy birthday, Lauren Maxwell. We appreciate Maxwell team and Becker Custom Homes, as well as our guy Juan at Jimmy P's Burgers and More, sponsoring the show. We're going to give away a gift card today for the best question or comment to the new Jimmy P's Burgers location. And very excited. Episode 10. We had to do it big for episode 10. I don't know if we could have done it any bigger than having a Hall of Famer, a legend, a great man of the community. Why don't you introduce the champ? The champ.
Man, it brings great pleasure to meet such human being, a man that's very, very, very humble, come from humble beginnings, got amazing story, amazing life, and just completely thrive, and a true patriot and believer of America and what we represent. It brings me no further ado to introduce not only my buddy, my friend, but my homie, Tito Ortiz.
Thank you much, man. I appreciate it very much.
Welcome, sir. It's a huge honor.
We just...
And I know it wasn't a short drive for you to come today, so we are very, very grateful to have you.
It wasn't that bad. It was only like 45 minutes. It's cool.
Okay.
For you guys, I got you. So
we appreciate
always got to help out each other.
Yeah, man. Plus, you know what he roll in? He ride real nice now.
Well, I can imagine he's a UFC Hall
of Famer. Oh, man. He had that big white Rolls Royce out there, man. You see it parked in front of his restaurant. If y'all never been to Tito's Cantina, listen, the tequila is very good. Very good. Smooth like a baby's bottom. Yeah. Very smooth. And the food, listen here, no carnitas.
Yeah. Almost every day.
I heard nothing. I haven't had a chance to make it out that way yet, but I've honestly heard nothing but great things, not only about the food, but I hear so much how people are impressed that you're there running food, bussing tables. I mean, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, you got to lead by example. You know, all my workers that are there, we have a great team. It just if you lead by example, then they know what to expect. And I can't say to do something if I haven't done it myself. So,
man, you outwork them. You know, I'll be at your restaurant. I'll be at your place. You'll be moving just as much as they move.
What to me, it's like the hard work I put in through fighting, all the training I did. It's like the same thing. I step on the floor there. It's like I got to work. And I
move. The owner should be the hardest one working, and he leads by example. Like
he literally is.
When I was a manager too, I was afraid to bust tables. I mean, that's how you set an example, and you know, you never afraid to get your hands dirty. But that's impressive. And so I know Larry loves the restaurant. I want to know, A, does Larry get a bill when he comes in? And B, what kind of tip does Larry leave? Because Larry's been known not to be the best
Larry
tipper.
Always gets a bill. The tip usually matches the bill, so all my people are happy with it. So,
See, you stepped your game up.
Larry always steps his game up. I'm thinking
always, man. You know what you thinking of me, Patrick? You was gonna try. He trying to embarrass me, Tito. He trying to embarrass me in front of company, man. No. I don't like that.
It don't happen at all.
Good.
Him and Byron don't step in, and I'm really happy just to get the respect and the values those guys bring into my place.
Absolutely. So. And I know Madison, a friend of the show too.
Yeah, Madison.
When Madison and Larry roll into the restaurant, does everything just stop?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's how I can imagine. Just everything. It's
supposed to, man. It's supposed
to. I agree.
No, but everybody's just so gracious and happy, like just to get an opportunity to see faces, and they're like, "Wow, Larry's here. Wow, Byron Donald's here. Wow, McCatherin's here." Everybody has a big smile on their face. It's like a community, man. It's a community that comes together. That's one of the reasons that brought me here to Cape Coral, Florida. And I was already coming to Florida back in 22, but I wasn't sure where I was going. After Hurricane Ian, I came here to help the day after the hurricane. There was a substantial amount of money to help out. We bought generators, doing gas runs from Miami and back, about 400 gallons per trip every other day for Matlacha, Pine Island, Northern Captiva, and watch a community come together the way they did. These are my type of people. About a week and a half being here, I met with Sheriff Carmine down at Fort Myers Beach, where it was just destroyed, giving out meals and everything. We had a little break. He's like, "You wouldn't mind coming down to the sheriff's office, come talk to some of the guys?" Of course. Went down there to see the big AI room. I have a bunch of televisions in there. There's a camera in every classroom in Lee County. There's a camera in every streetlight in Lee County, and there's 2 officers in every school in Lee County. Of course, I have 3 boys, my twin boys who are 15. I want a safety for them. That's safety in the schools. And what DeSantis has done here with the schools, the non-woke agenda, protecting our kids. You know, it's nice to see the schools strictly stick to curriculum, no more than that, and that's how it should be. For a parent, you want to teach your kids about sex, about the different things of growing up as an adult. That's your job. But the curriculum only school, that's their job. And in California, they're not doing that. So I had to get out.
Speaking of kids, man, you grew up on that West Coast. You know, me being on this side of the earth, man, we heard so much about you all in California. Like, man, how do they live out there? It's like, you know, you hear the red and blue. It was just always tough. Well, you got this barrio, that barrio, and everything else. I mean, neighborhoods and so forth. Like, tell us about your upbringing and growing up.
Well, you know, I mean, life was pretty normal to about 7 years old. Then my father got introduced to heroin, and life changed completely. You know, I was living in Huntington Beach at the time. My father had a job, had his own business, and then got into heroin. Just our life spiraled down to zero almost. Started living in motels, people's cars, our car, people's garages. Ended up in my grandma's house on the couch. And then that area in Santa Ana, there was a gang F troop that I used to hang out with. And that was like family to me because my parents didn't want to be parents at that time. You know, drugs was too important to them.
Yeah.
And I never really had a childhood growing up. It was just, I was always around the older guys, you know, and all the other gang members called me little man because I'm mature for my age of being young, you know.
Had to.
7 to 13. I mean, I grew up fast. I never had a childhood.
Yeah.
I didn't have a childhood until I started making money. I became the world champion. Then I was trying to be a child, and I was a man by then, and not realizing it. But I had my fun, you know. But the tough times, I think it just gave me the humility of understanding not having nothing is the worst thing in the world. You know, as a kid growing up, I always want to have a father that said he was proud of me. I want to have a father that said he loved me. I want to have a father like to hug me and just give me that support. I never had it. So as I had children, I understood that what they needed was everything I wanted. So I'm being able to provide that for my kids, and it's important.
Yeah. Is that one of the main reasons why you so active in the communities and you give back so much? And now, you know, this is your second year of coaching at Cape, what is Cape High or Ida Baker?
Ida Baker.
Ida Baker High. I mean, I was like, man, is there anything this man don't do or have his hands in? Like,
it's about giving back to the community. You know, it's about being a part of the community and a positive environment and giving people hope. You know, in California, it got down to almost nothing, man. It's just getting attacked so hard by the left. It was just disgusting. You know, the lies they would just say about me. I mean, I was on city council on Huntington Beach, and they tried to label me as a white supremacist. And it just made me sick because I'm like, my name is Tito Ortiz. Okay, Ortiz. Then I had to do that DNA test thing. I wanted to make sure that these people are trying to say that I'm just a white supremacist. So come to find out, I'm Mexican, I'm Native American, I'm Irish, I'm French, I'm Portuguese, and I'm Cameroon. So it didn't make any sense to me. And as growing up, you know, I grew up from up to 7, and I grew up all the white kids and stuff in Huntington Beach, and they always used to call me wetback, beaner, border jumper. And then when I moved to Santa Ana from 7 to 13, all the Mexicans would call me white bread, güero, and I always got confused. I'm like, Mom, what am I? She goes, honey, you're an American. I go, okay. And I didn't understand politics at all. I mean, not until 2020, I just got a taste of it, everything. And being locked in your house for a whole year because of COVID, I educated myself on a lot of things, a lot of history, a lot of stuff that was repeating itself. And it woke me up. And it was the shitty thing. It's like watching The Matrix. You know, you take the blue pill, you can live your life the same thing every single day. You take the red pill, you can realize what's really going on in this world. And I took the red pill, and it was scary. I'm glad I did, because now I can see things black and white. And at the same time, I wish I didn't, because things bother me and I want to fix the world and I can't do it. So instead of fixing the world, I know I can help fix the community, keep the community strong. And the Cape Coral, the community is so strong. The people are so amazing, all the way down from the PD. City council got a little work to do, but they're just trying to thrive. You know, when I first moved here in 2022 of November, I think we're at 300,000 in population. Now they're at 320. So it's growing fast. And Florida in general is growing fast. And I just hope people, when they move down here, they don't bring their politics into Florida. You know, keep your politics where you were there, unless you're going to come here and care about America, care about the future of this country, and it's important.
Man, I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate everything you're doing. It's like, and I know anytime I call you, man, you answer the bell, and I definitely appreciate that.
No, that's how people come together, man. I got to help each other, raise each other. You know, high tide raises all boats, and that's just life. God put us here for the right reasons, to help thy neighbor. And that's what I try to do, is help my neighbors, help my friends, and people who do have problems and can't get through things. I'm there. I've been through hell and back. I've been fortunate, and I've learned through my problems. I've learned through my mistakes, and I thrive under environments that try to prove me wrong or try to make me that I'm doing something wrong, and I prove them wrong every time. So,
how did you go ahead?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
How did you pick Cape Coral as the landing spot to basically move your family and move your career in life?
So it was the community, as I said earlier. I came here right after Hurricane Ian. One of my friends who lives in Cape Coral, I fished with him in Miami a bunch, and he asked if I'd come and help. I was like, of course, as the friends do. Took a red-eye flight on Saturday night, got here Sunday morning right after the hurricane. So I just saw this devastation everywhere. A couple of my buddies who own business in California, they donated some money to me, pretty substantial amount of money. We started buying generators. He had a boat, so he's a fisherman. And we just started going to Matlacha, Pine Island, Northern Captiva, dropping generators off. Then we had to refuel the generators with fuel. So we got in this truck, have 5-gallon drums of empty things, and go down to Miami, fill them up with fuel, doing about 400 gallons every other day. And of course, anybody in law enforcement, you're not allowed to travel with nothing more than 100 gallons of fuel.
I'm about to say.
I was doing 400 gallons. I got pulled over once. The troopers asked, like, I was in the passenger seat, and he asked my friend who was driving, he's like, how much fuel do you got? Or what do you have in the back? And so we have gasoline. How much fuel do you got back there? And I was like, we got 400 gallons. He's like, you guys can't be traveling with that much fuel. Then his buddy looked over his shoulder, was like, Tito Ortiz? Yes, sir. He goes, what the hell are you doing here? I go, listen, man, I'm going to Cape Coral, and I'm trying to help some community there. They need help. And he goes, go ahead. Don't worry about it. And I got away.
Speaking of fishing, tell us about your fishing expedition and your TV show with, fishing.
Yeah, Tito Ortiz versus Sea Monsters. You can go to WeTheStudios.com, and it's actually a non-woke net or platform that we're using. Just talk about the country, bring a families back together. That nuclear family that people are trying to erase right now, which is crazy. I mean, that's the political side of it. But my show, Tito Ortiz versus Sea Monsters, I'm going to go around the world trying to catch the biggest species of that fish in saltwater. It's kind of like a spinoff of Dwayne Wade's, River Monsters. So he always went to different places around the world for freshwater fish. Well, I want to go saltwater fish because there's some big fish out there. And we shot our first episode here in Naples, went Goliath fishing for Goliath grouper. And biggest one we got was probably like 350. I got broken off by a 500-pounder, I believe. I couldn't stop him. But it's all on rod and reel, all stand up. I know a lot of guys here that fish for Goliath. They said, yeah, you can hand line them with ropes. I was like, but that's not fishing, man. You use a rod, use a reel. So, we did our first episode. Once again, you can go to WeTheStudios.com, download it, check out my first season. There's another episodes are on there of, Raising the Reynolds? One of my buddies, Reynolds, that actually has 3 girls, or no, 1 boy, 2 girls that he adopted, black girls and a black kid. And he's just raising them. He's raising them right, raising them as we should here in America.
That's what it's about.
It's about, and there should be no color barrier, man. I don't see any racism. I never grew up on that. I've always questioned it, but coming at the end of the day, I'll judge a person by his character instead of the color of their skin. It's important. I think a lot of people need to do that, because the left really attacks on one side of saying a person's racist and this and that, and always putting the blame game on people. And, you got to blame your character of how you treat people before anything else.
That's just a cop out. That's the easiest way to, you have a disagreement. A person just say a person is racist. That's just the easiest way.
Yeah,
and people really don't know what a racist is, man. Like it's crazy. Yeah. You can have prejudices towards something or someone or what have you, which I think everyone has prejudices. But like me, man, I am so prejudiced towards ignorance.
Ignorance. That's racism. I see as ignorance.
Yeah, man. I can't stand it. And
you see guys like Morgan Freeman. They asked, I think it was that Lemon guy asked him, was like, how do we get rid of racism?
Don Lemon asked him, yeah.
And he was like, stop talking about it. I don't want to be judged any different than anybody else. Judge me for who I am. Don't judge me by the color of my skin. And that's things I understand, because my boys who are 15 now, back when they're in 3rd grade, I think, came after school and they're like, Dad, we got this cool friend, little brown kid. He's so cool. I go, right on. What's his name? His name's Tyrone. He's the coolest kid ever. And he was black as night. And it made myself proud because my kids don't understand any type of racism at all because we don't talk like that. We don't judge people like that.
Most people don't.
No, they don't.
Most people don't, man.
And it was just good. It made me proud as a father to understand that I'm raising my kids the right way. You know, I want that nuclear family. You know, we go to church at Cape Christian. Just that church is a phenomenal church in Cape Coral. You know, Corey does an amazing job as pastor there. I'm actually getting baptized on Sunday.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You know, God saved me a long time ago, but it really, I got an opportunity here in July 5th. One of my friends who's been a part of my training camp for over 24 years, and he used to ask me, Tito, come to church with me. I was like, I ain't going to church. That place would burn down if I walked in there. Now understanding that, you know, Jesus died for our sins, and it's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that. Well, fast forward to 24 years later, he came to my restaurant, waiting until the end of the restaurant was closed at 2 a.m. And he just came down to talk. He's like, hey, it's cool if we go back to your house and just talk. I go, yeah, of course. Let's go, Paul. Went back to my house. It's 2 a.m. He's like, I see all the posts you're doing on social media on Instagram, you know, Tito Ortiz IG. He goes, you've been saying a lot of stuff about Jesus and about God and about how people need to find him. And I go, Paul, there's evil times right now. This is not Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus Republican, Democrat.
Evil.
This is good versus evil. It's happening right now. And 2020 sparked it more than anything for me because I started seeing it right in plain sight, and they're showing it in plain sight. And God has helped me. You know, I had some troublesome times in 2021. My house got robbed. I got robbed for $750,000. I started losing everything, and only I could do was just pray and just hope for strength. And things got better, and then things got better, and then things got better. Then I moved here, and things got 100% better.
So, are you telling me you was like Job?
Pretty much.
Congratulations again, my brother.
Yeah, no, I'm fortunate. I just, at the end of the day, you know, I've always said thank you for my wins. When I fought to the Lord, I always said, you know, God, thank you for this opportunity. And my losses, I always just said thank you for letting me be healthy, and for giving me the opportunity to do what I do. But now it's just, I want to give my children everything that I never had. So I got to say thank him for the community that I have right now. I'm very, very blessed, and I'll continue to do it. And I said a testimony at Cape Christian. A lot of people come to my restaurant at Tito's Cantina, and they're like, we watched your testimony, and I don't feel alone now. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I lived that same way. He goes, my father was the same way. My mother was the same way. Everyone I hung around with was the same way. And I wanted to find change. I wanted to find a difference to make myself a better person. And I kept falling off the end of emptiness, but I knew I can reach to God to help me. And to have your testimony, what you said, now I know I'm not alone. And to someone at your stature, I'm like, at my stature? He's like, yeah, being world champion, Hall of Famer. I was like, I'm no different than you, man. We all believe the same. We all cry the same. But with hope and faith, we can get a long way. And I think that testimony I did helped a lot of people. It helped me. It was a little therapy for myself. You know, I did it 2 days in a row. So it was a little draining because I had to bring back the same emotions as a kid of growing up, of just when I wrestled in high school, of just hoping my dad would be at the wrestling tournament or the wrestling match. And he never was. My fights never was. I even bought him tickets, paid for his hotel, paid for his flight. He got so high in one of the hotels that he couldn't come to the fight. But it's just one of those things right before the fight, you look over at the seat and there's an empty seat and you're like, I'm alone again. But you know what?
Gotta keep going.
I got to keep going. It's on me. I'm a man of my word. I got to have integrity for myself. And I got to show the hard work and dedication that I had through my life. And me being here is not a mistake. You know, God's gave me some gifts, and I've worked hard and do it honestly. I don't step at anybody, get ahead. And I just work harder and harder every day to try to give my kids everything I never had. So, you know, it's been a challenge. And, you know.
And I think you also teach your kids a lot of things, but you also wasn't taught.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things ever.
You know, it's
because
huge.
you can give a person, but man, when you teaching them the things that you wasn't never taught, that goes so much farther than anything.
Yeah. When I take away their Xbox, take away their cell phones, they get bad grades. They get their grades to F's or D's. I shave their heads. running sprints in front of the house. Like I did the ass whooping thing for about 3 times maybe. It just wasn't working. That was just like beating a dead horse.
It's more of that pride thing.
It was pushing them where they were running so hard they started crying, and that was the pain. They hated it. Now it's like them being in high school, shaving their head, they'll lose their mind. So their grades are good right now. They know better.
Yeah, man. It's like, I know my mom used to jump on me, but man, when she told me I couldn't leave out the house, my mom embarrassed me on the basketball court, football field, telling the coach, Larry's done. Sit him out for a half.
Right.
And you heard what I said. And
that was it.
That was it. Like, she was just like, I understand that. That's strong discipline, but it takes you so far, and respect keeps you.
Yeah.
So your kid's gonna be real well.
Yeah, and as I tell my boys, we have two things the rest of our life. We have our word and we have our name. Don't break your word, and always keep your name strong. And they understand that. They carry themselves some different demeanor. Last year was a tough year for us when we moved here. My son Journey, we told him not to sneak out. They snuck out anyways, and my son Journey got hit by a car going 50. Spiral fracture, compound fracture in his left leg. He's lucky to be alive. God was looking over him. Very thankful. He healed quick. He wrestled last year with a plate and 9 screws in his leg, but he still sucked it up. He wrestled. He did all the practices, ran all the stairs, everything. So mentally and physically, they're super, super tough kids because of the stuff I've been instilling in their minds, and I'm instilling greatness into them. And he just got the rod and screws out in June now. So now he's back to training again. And like I said, man, I'm making men. I'm not making boys. I'm making men.
That's your job.
Yeah. As a father, I got it.
Whether you like it or not, it's your job.
They didn't want to be brought in this world. I wanted them here in this world. So that's my job. And for all parents that are listening, man, the hardest thing in the world is being a parent. That's the most hardest thing in the world. Because every day I got to worry. Every day I got to wonder to make sure, what are they doing? Who are they with? Who they associating themselves with, if they're working hard. But when they come home, I always give them a hug and say, I'm proud of you, son.
That's what's up.
It's important, man. That's what's super important.
Let me get to some of these questions.
Go ahead.
They're coming in. First question. My brother Eric Forstall, it's his birthday today. One of my
happy birthday, E.
That's my guy right there. When you want to talk about loyalty, that's my guy since '97. He asks, how do you feel about the current state of our country?
Current state of our country, by my opinion, the most divided part this country's ever been in my lifetime. And I'm 49 years old. I've never seen it this divided in my life. I never really been to focus on politics until 2020 when I ran for city council in Huntington Beach. And to see what they're doing to Trump is just the fabrication of lies that is just disgusting. I've known Trump since 2000. I fought as a casino in Jersey at the Trump Taj Mahal. I worked with him on Celebrity Apprentice. I knew what type of man he was. I know what type of man he is. I know what type of family man he is. I know what type of businessman he is. I know what type of patriot he is for this country. For a billionaire willing to sacrifice everything for this country, people didn't understand that. And people, the mainstream media have really propaganded lies that have just almost destroyed this country. And I think now people better be awake. People better understand what we have to lose. Because once we lose our freedom, we'll never get it back. And, when a couple of my partners are like, Tito, you need to stop talking about politics. I'm like, I can't. I have a platform. I got to say something. If I don't say something, I don't want my kids going, Dad, how come you didn't say something when you had the platform you did? So that's why I do speak up. That's why I do try to say, once again, my opinion, what I see, this country's, it's fallen. It's communism's here. Reagan used to talk about communism only a day away. Well, it's here now. It's happening right now. The propaganda that's happening is disgusting. And growing up, there was 2 things you never talked about. You never talked about politics. You never talked about religion. And that is a mistake because they don't want people to learn about what politics are and what religion truly is. And if you're able to talk about it, you have an open line of communication towards each other. People can debate on it. They can have our differences, but at the end of the day, you shake hands, say, yeah, you have your opinion. I have mine. Day goes on. No more than that.
Do you think it's a cop-out if, I don't want you to have any beef with 50 Cent, but kind of they asked 50 why he doesn't talk about politics or religion, because he always thought there's going to be people that disagree with you.
Yeah, that's one of my partners, same situation. He just tells me the country's split 50-50 right now. People hate Trump for no reason, and people love this country for a reason. And you're going to have that hate on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So why put yourself in firing lines of both? You just play the line right down the middle. And once again, I go back, because if I don't speak up and say something, I'm going to look back a year from now going, dude, why don't you say something? You had an opportunity to say something. But I see guys like Henry Cejudo, former Olympic world champion, 3-time UFC champ, speaking up. I see a lot of other guys speaking up, but guys in Hollywood are starting to speak up. But the ones that aren't speaking up, those are the ones that want to lose money. To them, money is way more important than the future of this country, which
they grew up differently. They grew up in, most of them people grew up in a situation where they didn't have to be loyal to anything or anybody or any type of situation. So when you have people that have had to stand on something, when you really had to make those decisions, that tell you exactly who you are, whether you like where they coming from or you don't. You look at even some of the athletes, seem like them the ones that are doing most of the talking. And even though a lot of them are entertainers, they usually liberal, but I can respect the fact at least they open their mouth.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but I'm so tired of cowards.
Yeah.
It's just one too many. And that bothered me a lot, man. You have to stand on something. If you know it's right, you speak on it. And that's me.
100%.
That's me.
I'm right there with you.
Like,
I'm saying,
I don't care if you don't like me.
I don't care if you don't like me.
Let me get through some of these questions because they're important.
Yeah.
Pastor Eddie, what's up? Pastor Eddie has a question for you, Tito. Any interest on being involved in a political position? I know that you spent some time as a mayor and councilman, but are politics in the future for Mr.
No,
Ortiz?
I'd rather be on the outside and have a louder voice. If I'm in the politics, you kind of get stronghold. You can only say so much. You can't respond in a different way. I'm an open book, man. I'm gonna say you how and tell you how I feel. I'm gonna say what's on my mind, and I don't have any filter.
I was gonna say though, we do have one politician that's like that, Congressman Donalds.
Yeah, I mean, he says it right. I love Byron Donalds, man. He is the man. But for right now, my kids' future is number one. They're in school. When I was in California, they got intact when they were in school because I was in politics. Right now, no, I have no aspiration for it. Right now, I'm just focusing on my restaurant, focus on being a head coach at Ida Baker High School Wrestling, and just living life normal right now.
But never say never.
Never say never. There's a time and place for everything. Right now, I'll just sit back and hopefully I can wake some people up. Hopefully some people see the honest truth and stop believing all the propaganda lies that mainstream media is telling everybody. Because my mom is one of those victims, and I hit her with truths all the time. She says, that's not true. CNN just said it totally different. I go, okay, Mom. And we don't talk about it, but that's the way it is, man. A lot of people are blinded. I mean, this is exactly the same thing Hitler did back in World War II, where he made it mandatory for people to have a radio in every single person's home because they would spit propaganda through that. What we have now is we have a cell phone, we have a television, and they have exactly mainstream media is owned by the left, and it's disgusting to what they're doing. And I just hope people are a little more brighter, a little more smart enough to actually do their own research instead of just listening to the news and thinking that's the truth. Do your research. Look at our history. Look what's happened before and what's happening right now. It's disgusting. And like I say, if I don't speak up and say something, I'm gonna look back going, man, I wish I would have said something. So I know my partner's probably gonna listen to this and go, damn, I told you not to say about it. I can't do it. I won't involve our business, but at the same time, for me, it's about my children's future. It's about this country's future. I love this country. I've been to Iraq 6 times for the USO. I know have a lot of veteran friends. I have a lot of friends who are in special force still, and they text me all the time saying, Tito, thank you for speaking up, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for speaking up. I can't count the people that come into my restaurant saying, Tito, thank you for speaking up. I seen you on Jesse Waters. Thank you. We're all in the same boat. And it makes me happy. It makes me proud. I love this country. I've traveled the world. I've been everywhere but Russia. Russia and Germany, only 2 places I've never been. And I've been to third world countries. I've seen how it is there. And I don't want that to be here. And right now it's coming to that point, and it's kind of scary. And like I said,
you probably don't want to go to Russia either.
Yeah, no, maybe. You never know.
Okay. Sab asks, well, it's kind of copying my rapid fire, but Khabib or Jon Jones?
Jon Jones.
Okay. Then Sharka says, amazing story, a lot of love and strength. God bless you. Then Larry says, good to see you live. Condolences on the 0-3 start. Thank you for your services, and just a lot of nice shout outs in here. Dana White.
Yeah.
What's up with Dana White? Because I admire the heck out of him, because here's a guy, $1 billion brand, not afraid to speak his mind, supports Trump. What's the beef with Dana White? Is it more kind of business or related going back to the UFC days? Because I would think you guys, you're the poster child for UFC guys carrying the flag and representing, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of personal stuff,
Mhm.
which it's way behind me now. I don't look in the rearview mirror anymore. I just look forward. I went through some little hard drama with him at the end of my career with them.
Because I read too, you were in like 2014, you were the biggest and hottest free agent basically in the MMA world.
And I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my kids. At the end of the day, yeah, and the mighty dollar is going to take care of my children. People say, yeah, being rich and you're happy, that's incorrect. I know some billionaires and multi-millionaires who are miserable people.
Yeah.
Miserable. What makes me happy is my children happy. It makes my family happy. And financially, if I don't have to worry about the lights being on, hot water being on, food inside the refrigerator, clothes on their back, living in a comfortable neighborhood, in a safe neighborhood, money gets me there, and it makes me happy from a kid who came from nothing at all and been able to thrive to build to that position. That's how fighting got me to that position.
Yeah.
And I fought my ass off, over 25 years of competition, had 8 major surgeries, 4 neck surgeries, a back surgery, 3 knee surgeries, reattached retina in my left eye. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears, and I always thought I deserved a little more, but I think I probably did it the wrong way. And that's one of the reasons why Dana doesn't like me, because it wasn't that he was my boss. He was a friend before he was my boss.
Mhm.
So when he would talk shit on me, I would automatically respond
Mhm.
with no filter at all.
Because it was more kind of hurtful.
It was hurtful, but it was personal. It was
Yeah.
hurtful. And it was like, you're taking money away from my family. I mean, you guys are gonna have a company for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And you guys are gonna make billions and billions and billions. And I'm gonna be lucky to make a couple million. People think about it as like, wow, no, that's a couple $1 million. Well, you understand, 50% of that money goes to the government. Automatic.
California.
Yep. And it's just
would you say Dana White takes care of his fighters?
I think he's doing it better now.
Better job.
He's doing a better job now. I think so. But just building the brand, that's his goal. His goal is to build that brand like nothing anybody's ever seen before. We just had UFC Noche 306 this last Saturday. We had it at my restaurant at Tito's Cantina. That was the best production I ever seen in my life of anything at all. I think he hit a home run on that one. And once again, you can't hold on to hatred in your heart for anybody. Hate's a hard word to be saying.
When's the last time you guys spoke?
Last time we spoke was probably about 4 years ago, about 5 years, right before COVID. So about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just, what's up? How are you? And how you doing?
Mhm.
Good. Right on. Went our own separate ways. I think just a lot of things happened when I fought Chuck the last time. Chuck called me out and I said, you don't want to fight me now. I'm a different animal. You don't want to fight me. And so they promoted, UFC promoted it, helped Oscar De La Hoya. They built it a little bit. And then I went to one of the nightclubs in Vegas and I went to Dana's table and I was talking to him and we were cool. Like we were cool as hell. And he's like, how do you think you can do against Chuck? I go, I'm going to knock his ass out. And he got he was pissed that I said that. And since then, like I say, we might have talked maybe once. My wife and him are friends also. So every once in a while, I hear a message back and forth. But like I say, man, life's too short to hate.
Absolutely.
It's behind me now. I'm just very impressed with what he's doing with UFC. He's just building it bigger and bigger.
And you obviously had a hand in that. I mean, there is no UFC today, I think, if there's not for Tito Ortiz. Because when I think of UFC, I think of Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, these guys that came and built that up. And I wanted to ask you, who would you put at the Mount Rushmore for UFC fighters all time if you had to put 4 guys up there?
Mount Rushmore. Number 1 would have to be Hoist Gracie. Wasn't Hoist Gracie, none of us would be here. 100%. Randy Couture, another one, light heavyweight world champion, heavyweight world champion, and did that at older age. A lot of people didn't think he would be able to do it. Conor McGregor, you got to give it to him now.
Really? You'd put him on the mount. And is that more for the business side of it, what he brought to?
Yeah,
or
just the business side of
it
and just the gap he was able to.
You ever hang out with Conor McGregor?
One time after the Floyd Mayweather fight, I just talked to him for maybe about 30, 40 minutes. And I just told him, I go, you see all this fame you're getting? You see all this money you're making? I go, just do one thing, brother. Don't forget about your family. Because I made that mistake when I was champ. I made some big mistakes. I just don't forget about your family. That's number 1. Your kids and your wife. Don't forget about them. And he hasn't. He's always been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He seems that
Yeah,
way,
I mean,
and I respect him.
And then I respect him completely for that. People always ask if I put myself at that Mount Rushmore, and yeah, because I did so many other things beyond just in the octagon. I did so many things that was original that no one else ever did, and then a lot of people copied and mimicked it, which is, it's a sign
The
of
game.
Trendsetter.
Yeah,
No, that's the game, though.
that's the game.
Was there ever one guy you fought or going in, you were like, man, this guy's going to be a problem for me? Honestly,
Vanderlei Silva. When I beat him for the world title, he was in Japan and he was killing everybody, knocking people out. And he fought a couple other wrestlers who were Division I champions and knocking them out super fast. And I was like, oh, this guy's a monster. And he was just a different type of fighter. He was very vicious, didn't talk to anybody, just the way he fought, and pulling off a decision against him. We both dropped each other. It was a great fight, but I think that was one of the ones that kind of put a little fear in my heart. But if, like I say, every fight you have a little bit of fear.
Sure.
The confidence got to be through the roof, but you got a little bit of fear, and that was one of them. It was just like, oh man, but I ended up pulling off the win. There's a couple of them that did have that same feeling, but you win some, you lose some, just as long as you can fight another day.
Who's one guy that you wouldn't want to fight on the street, or be, you run into someone and this guy outside the ring, be like, all right, this guy might be a whole nother animal.
Jon Jones.
Yeah. Jon Jones is with it. Oh, Jon Jones, as Black Lives Matter.
I'm telling you, man, people understand when he is at 205, he's 6'5", his reach is 86 inches, I believe. Dude.
Do you remember during Black Lives Matter, they scraped up his car or something, and he was with the business.
Yeah, no, he ain't. He goes, he ain't playing this here, boys. And they turncoat really quick. Yeah, Jon Jones I think he's one of the best ever. I mean, that's the guy who beat my record, have the most light heavyweight world title defenses. I had 5. I think he had 8 or 10. I think. Yeah, he's a beast, man.
And
that guy,
brother's a hell of a football player too. That's a strong family.
Yeah, Jon Jones, I think the only downfall he's ever had is the people he hung himself out with. It's the only problem he had. If he hung around with better people, I think his career wouldn't have been tarnished, because there was things that was pushed on him, drug wise, steroids and things like that tarnished his career a little bit. But at the end of the day, as a fighter, he's one of the best. I think one of the best, and that's my opinion. He's a good dude. I've talked to him on a few occasions. Awesome guy. He means well. I think God has saved him right now. I think he just got baptized himself just recently, last 2 days. But once again, I respect that man. I just wish that he will make better decisions on his future of his career for sure.
What kind of fighter would Congressman Donald make?
God, he's a big cat.
6'2", 275.
Yeah, I teach him some footwork, some takedowns, and he'd be knocking some people out.
and he's
intelligent, man. That's the thing.
And he'd be like Anderson Silva, the quiet, stone cold killer.
Literally, people gotta understand, fighters, they just think of fighters as being just street brawling, knucklehead fighter guys. You got to have a lot of intelligence to be a fighter. Just the mental warfare you do against another person, verbally or physically, you got to play it like chess. It is a big, big, big difference between a boxer. But guys like Canelo, I mean, he's a super smart guy. Very, very, very sharp in his punches and everything, but that just comes with repetition. But as an MMA fighter, there's so much stuff you battle with. I think the night before the fight, people understand that you're the only person laying in bed going, shit, I'm putting my life on the line tomorrow. And that's how it feels to me when it's fighting competition. I'm putting my life on the line. I ain't going out there to win or lose. I'm going out there to beat someone down. And I'm going to do everything in my ability to make that happen. But just laying in bed the night before the fight, you're just like, it's the most loneliest feeling in the world. And no one understands that unless they're a fighter.
Do you sleep the night before?
Oh, I sleep really good the night before. Yeah, because during camp, I push myself so hard that I know I'm prepared when it comes to fight times. So the night before, I always look in the mirror and I look behind me, and every rock is unturned, and I know that I'm ready for the fight.
That's what's
when I walk out to the fight, I'll cry. Every fight, I always cry. And
is there a greater thrill, rush, high, whatever you want to call it, than coming out into the octagon?
Yeah, getting your hand raised. That's the best feeling in the world. Getting your hand raised and knowing all that hard work paid off. And like I say,
I meant in terms of a rush, though. You know, I always
walking out. I people ask me that all the time. Like, what's the feeling like that? I go, I don't know. I guess skydiving. I never skydived yet. I'm a skydive here on my birthday in January. I never skydived before, but I would say the rush of that, of being.
But you're probably in the zone
fear
at
in
that
your
point
heart,
too.
having very like being scared, like super scared, but then being completely like motivated to battle that fear. And like I say, when I used to walk out, I'd have tears coming down my eyes. I walk out. I never understood why I did that. I would throw up first in my dressing room and like, all right, Tito. I remember Bert saying, let's roll. I'm like, hold on one second. I would throw up everything in my stomach. And as I was walking out, I'd be feeling tears coming down my eyes. And it wasn't in pain. I wasn't fear. But once I stepped into the cage, there was no more tears. And I felt invincible. I wanted to come realize, and it took me almost 12 years to realize why I would do that. But I think it was in 2009, I realized that it was fear leaving my body. And once I stepped into the cage, I felt invincible. It was just, I felt like there's no one going to beat me right now. This is my house. This is my place. And I'm going to get my hand raised. Sometimes I got my hand raised. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I got draws. But at the end of the day, I went there and I fought my ass off. I gave everything I possibly could. It wasn't about the money at that time. Once you step in that cage, it's not about the money at all. It's about my name and my reputation and who I am as a person.
What do you do after you win a big fight? Because where do you go to celebrate? Because do you go to
usually they're in Vegas, and I'd go to XS at the Win.
That's got to feel good too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and the people usually take care of me really well. I love Vegas. All my friends, family live there. I mean, not blood family, but their family. They're my boys. It's always nice, man. It's always really nice. You know, one of my boys, J-Rock, he owns a couple of nightclubs there. Awesome guy. Just having close friends like that when you're there and after a win is great. It's a little harder when you lose, but at the same time, it shows who your true friends are, because those are the ones that show up no matter what. You know, I remember losing to Randy Couture, and I was trying to defend my world title for the 6th time, and I lost. Walking out to the fight, I had 20 guys in my dressing room and 20 guys in my entourage walking out to the fight. I lost the fight. I remember going back in my dressing room, cutting off my hand wraps and everything. I felt like my world was over. And there was 2 people in my dressing room, my head coach and my best friend. Everybody else were gone. Talk about feeling abandoned. That's the worst feeling in the world. But you see the colors of your people, and you see who your true friends are. And I realized that quick. You know, I'm glad that happened earlier in my career. In 2003 it was. But I kept my niche and my group strong and tight. You know, like I say, you count 5 of your best friends that always, no matter what time it is, what day it is, you call them and say, what's up? I need some help. They'll be there like within a snap of the fingers. Those are the true friends you got. And since I moved here, I probably got about 10 now. But when I was in Cali, I had about 4. And it's life, man. It's the lessons you learn, you know, and you test people's true integrity of losses and wins, and what they need for you or what you need from them. And you know, like I say, I don't ever ask anybody for anything. That's one of my biggest downfalls, is asking for help. And it took me to realize that when my wife now, Amber, when I got separated with my ex, with my twin boys, and I was a father for a year by myself, and I needed help, and it was hard for me to ask for help. I called her husband and asked, I said, you think you can help me? She goes, I got you. She came. I liked her. She already knew I liked her. And I had to get knee surgery. She took a 3-week notice off her job. She took care of me for 3 weeks. So as I got ACL replaced my left knee, made sure my boys got up for school, made sure they were dressed. She's been a part of my life ever since. We've been together for 12 years. We've been married for 2 years. And she's my angel, man. God sent me an angel. And, you know, I went through the trials and tribulations of hell with my ex. And it just made me a stronger soldier. You know, God will give his strongest soldiers the hardest jobs in front of them. And shows what type of personality, what type of character you are by battling through those things. And I battled a lot of demons. And people always ask me over the last like 4 years, like, Tito, when did you become so religious? I go, when the devil didn't win. They're like, oh, yeah,
you know,
was there.
We was just having this conversation earlier when we was talking about friends, man, and like
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, like when you were saying that, I was like, man, everybody loves a winner.
Yeah.
You know, and I often remind Byron and that Congressman Donald's about the same thing. Everybody love you when you're on top. when you have something to represent. But man, where are those people when them dark hours of the night and those when you just down or you done lost or what have you? And like, I know it. I know what it feels like, because it was one point in my time when I was at the top. I had it all, and man, when I lost everything, it's like nothing. You know, you even have people like, man, you making fun of me, like you like.
But those are the weak individuals.
That's hurtful.
But those are the weak individuals that can't find strength in themselves to be better, and
No doubt
they want to live a mediocre life. I refuse to do that because I think God's gave me great blessings, and the hard work and the dedication I put for my name and for the stuff I built through my life. You know, I had 3 choices in life: dead, in prison, or I am right now. The choices I've made, I'm very, very thankful.
All about it.
I could have made some bad choices, and I always thought to myself, that was something one of the teachers taught me when I was in high school too, because I used to do bad things, like get fights and stuff. And he'd go, Tito, sit down and look at yourself and ask yourself, should you do it? Ask yourself 10 times. And if one of those 10 times you say no, don't do it. Because it's probably not the right thing to do. And like I say, I'm going to be 50 years old, and I still ask myself those things all the time. And I try to teach my kids those things, and it's important, because there's been a couple of times they come to me like, Dad, I did what you said, and it worked. Son, I'm not going to tell you anything different. I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. I want you to be as successful as me. I want you to be better than me. And, you know, my kids are all in advanced classes. They're smart. My oldest son, Jacob, is at Arizona State University, criminal justice psychologist. I want to give them everything I never had. And that's my goal, but I need them to understand they need to do it on their own. If they have problems, I'm going to help them. They make a mistake, I'll help them one more time. They do it again, it's on them. And that's the way it is. You got to let people learn through the process. You know, when my kids were super young, I remember they would fall and my ex would go to pick them up. I'm like, hold on. Let them pick themselves up. Let them pick themselves up. It's like, no, that's not how you do it. I go, trust me, let them pick themselves up. And they would fall and start crying, and they would look around to see who was paying attention. And I wouldn't say nothing to them. Like, you all right? Are you bleeding? No. You're good. Get up. They would get up. And it was just as they got older, got more and more and more. They got more strong themselves, so they would eat it hard, like fall and scrape, and they'd be like, I'm okay. But once again, if you're able to build that strength mentally for them, they just become tougher and tougher kids.
All right, we're going to play this little game we call Rapid Fire. I don't know if you watch Drink Champs. So here, got to answer one or the other. If you answer both, typically call you a Democrat, but I'm not going to call you a Democrat because I don't want to get slapped in the face.
Nah, you would get slapped in the face. All right.
So one or the other, and you know, I'm going to keep it Cali related here, but you ready?
Fire.
Carl Jr.'s or In-N-Out Burger?
In-N-Out.
You know, I knew he was going to say that, and I asked someone I was going to ask that. Everybody's going to go.
I think Carl here, man.
I think Carl Jr.'s is better. I don't see the big fascination in In-N-Out Burger again. Though
the Western bacon cheeseburger is great, but
In-N-Out, In-N-Out be swinging, man.
Well, they stay on the West Coast for a reason, right? That's kind of that's their thing. So they're.
I think they're building one out here.
I got one in Florida. No, I didn't know they were building one in Florida. I thought they came as far as Arizona.
Yeah, that's
far. They do. I heard they treat their employees really well too. Yeah. Tam's Burger or Fat Burger?
Fat Burger.
Roxy or Whiskey A Go Go?
Okay. Whiskey A Go, because I've been there a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills 90210 or Melrose Place?
Melrose Place.
Melrose Place was a classic.
Oh, yeah. Beverly Hills 90210 for me.
Death Row Records or Ruthless Records?
Death Row.
Because Death Row would seem easy, but remember Ruthless Records, NWA.
Yeah.
So I know. Vector and NWA. And a lot of people don't know this. The Black Eyed Peas were originally signed on Ruthless Records.
I didn't know that.
But Death Row is owned by Dre now. Dre owns Death Row.
Snoop.
Is it Snoop?
Snoop and Harry O.
Yeah. My nephew Snoop. What's up?
Sunset Strip or Ocean Drive?
Sunset.
Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson? Told you what.
I'll say Joe Rogan. I like, you know what? I like Joe Rogan. I like because he's made a complete 360. He's flipped, and he's actually speaking the truth on all levels. And
still not on the Trump train, though, right?
You know what?
Close.
Once again, I don't care who you vote for, but if you're able to do the honest, respectful thing and say the truth of what's going on, I respect that.
That's real.
I mean, like I say, I ain't gonna judge anybody if they're voting for anyone. I don't care. You guys need to sit back and see what the politic of his whole agenda is going to be for the country. That's what you need to understand. Forget about color, forget about sex, forget about all that. Look at a person and what they're going to do for the future of the country. And the proof is in the pudding, what people have done before. The last 8 years, we can see it. And if people can't see it, you're blinded. And
so you're going Joe Rogan on that one.
Joe Rogan.
Okay. Yeah. Menudo or pozole?
Menudo.
Yeah, menudo's
all day.
Fire.
Yeah.
Soft shell or hard shell? Tacos.
Oh, soft. Yeah. Con tortillas all day.
Grouper or snapper?
Grouper, because we serve the best grouper tacos in the world.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna try when I get up there. Bartending or serving?
I'll give it to the bartenders because
you got great ones, by the way.
Yeah, my boy Trevor, he's
phenomenal.
I asked him for a bubblegum margarita. He made me a bubblegum margarita. I was like, "Are you joking right now? That tastes like big league bubblegum chew." And it was a margarita. I was like, delicious. "Oh man, you're phenomenal."
Ultimate Fighter or Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, Ultimate Fighter all day.
Chuck Liddell or Ken Shamrock?
Ken Shamrock, because he actually got respect for himself. I like Ken Shamrock.
Interesting. Fox News or Newsmax?
Newsmax.
Wolfgang Puck or Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay. I know the boy. He's good dude.
I know you do. Snoop Dogg or Nipsey Hussle?
Snoop.
Yes, sir.
Nephew.
Dana White or Vince McMahon?
Dana.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
MJ or Kobe?
Michael Jordan, baby, all day. Are you kidding me?
See how that sounds like?
Best ever.
Oh,
Marino or Montana?
Montana.
Not even a question, right?
Not even a question.
Thank you. The champ has spoken.
We are in Florida, but I mean, Marino, but let me tell you, Montana, the catch.
You biased. That's San Fran.
No, he's not my friend.
I said it's San Fran. That's that West Coast.
No, that's nothing to do with West Coast.
49ers, man.
That's to do with Super Bowl championships.
Super Bowl championships. You remember the catch? You forget the catch?
What, Dwight Clark? Man, forget that.
4-0 in Super Bowls?
Yes.
Man, we're talking about Marino. You think Marino
we're talking
numbers?
about Montana.
I like to do numbers. I love numbers.
I like to talk wins.
I like wins and championships.
Thank you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mobb Deep or the Dog Pound?
Dog Pound.
Keeping it West Coast.
What do you think?
Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue?
Guns N' Roses.
Okay. Yeah. I know where you're going to go with this, but Rock or Hulk Hogan?
Come on.
Okay.
Say your prayers, take your vitamins, brother.
How about Triple H or The Undertaker?
The Undertaker.
HBK or Bret Hart?
Bret Hart.
Really? I'm a HBK guy, but
I'm Bret Hart.
That was a great rivalry.
I like Bret Hart.
Casino or Goodfellas?
Goodfellas. That's one of my favorite movies.
Man,
that's actually
movie.
number 2. That's actually my number.
I'm trying to tell
you. What's number 1?
Number 1 actually is Wolf of Wall Street.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
it's one of the few movies. It's 3+ hours and you can watch straight through.
Yeah,
we could be just friends.
How about Braveheart or Gladiator?
Gladiator. I was that gladiator. I was trying to fight for my freedom when I was with UFC. I was trying. And
are you not entertained?
Yeah, there was a lot of those situations in my career that had a lot of stuff that mimicked it.
Hey, but you know what? True story though. I told the president, you win the people, you win your freedom.
And that was my thing too. And I tried to win the people, and Dana didn't let me. And he tried to erase me. I'm not saying they're still trying to erase me, but they're erasing me. And I'm glad that I've been able to be successful. People seeing the fighting style that I've had, that they'll never forget me.
Brother, you will always win. You got Christ with you, man.
Yes, sir.
They can't do that
every day. Like I said, that's behind me now. I got new stuff, new ambitions right now in life. Our fighting was just a
stepping stone.
Yeah, it was a stepping stone. It was a vehicle to get me where I am today. People know I'm an honest man. They respect me because of it. And like I say, I'm very humble because I come from hard beginnings, and I'm very fortunate to have what I have because now my children have everything I've always wanted as a kid, and that's what makes me happy.
That's great. That's great. Now, unfortunately, you are a Dallas Cowboys fan. What happened to the Cowboys yesterday?
I don't know. I actually didn't even watch the
Who
game.
lived in the past?
Wait, hold on a second. He said I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. No, I didn't say I was a fan. I said I like the Dallas Cowboys because they never took a knee during 2020.
Okay.
Okay, that's
you
why.
You want to kind of go into that real quick about how you kind of changed your football affiliation?
Yeah. So, gosh, what was it? 2020. Chargers, my boys. I dug them.
So you're
all
one
of a
of
sudden,
you're one
everyone
of
took a knee. I was like, political stuff should not have any game in sports at all. You got an opportunity to go out there and play your game, and that's it. I talked to one of the coaches at the time who was a friend of mine, and I said, why are you guys taking a knee for? He's like, you don't understand the stuff that I've been through. Yeah, I do. No, there's been so much stuff. I go, all this stuff is just you guys are being played. You're all being played for money. And that's exactly what's going to happen. What ended up happening 2 to 3 years later, all those people that did all this BLM stuff, they were making millions upon millions upon millions upon millions and buying themselves stuff. It was never about the community. It was never about giving back to people. It was just a big lie. And it hurt my feelings because there's so many football players that bought into it. And I wish they didn't. And that's what I didn't.
So the Chargers had 6 fans and they lost their biggest one in Tito Ortiz. So only like 20 people go. 20 people go there. But let me ask you a question.
They're real good people. But like I say, I go back to the Cowboys because when I was growing up, the Cowboys, when they had Emmitt Smith and Aikman, that was my team. Like that was America's team. And to me, that's how much I love America. I mean, I'm a diehard patriot. I love my country. If people are going to step up and have the same love for this country as I do, I got their back.
But
I'm all in.
Let me ask you a question. You just said that athletes should not get involved in politics.
Yeah.
But
I'm not an athlete.
So you're saying if you were still currently fighting in UFC, you wouldn't maybe be as vocal as you are now?
No, because I'm my own person. And I'm thinking I'm doing it for the country. I'm not doing it for a person's related or their ethnicity. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for the country.
And I respect that. But if an athlete is thinking that they're doing it for whether they're brainwashed or for the wrong cause, but if they believe that in their heart and they're taking a knee, that kind of contradict them in a way because you're saying they should leave the politics out of the sports.
If it's a team, I agree. If it's their own person,
okay.
But they made them take a knee. They said they have to. They made them. And I was like, that's not cool. You can't do that to people because I know there was other teams that guys stood up.
Yeah,
and they actually got fined by the team for standing up.
So
and that's wrong.
It's a great question because now it brings me back to 1961, I think, or 62. The great Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
So what do you think about his situation? What he did and used his platform when he refused?
Well, that's one of those situations that was way back then where
things was really going on.
When it was real. It was real. It wasn't a fabrication where they're trying to make money off somebody. This is a person that was standing up for something that was.
Well, they didn't know.
These guys maybe thought they were the Muhammad Ali. But I'm just playing devil's advocate.
A lot of these kids are very young.
And he's limited, and I get that.
But I mean, once again, you look at history. Look what happened after 2020. Look how much they showed of all that money they're being robbed.
You don't know it at that point.
They don't know it at that point. But look at Muhammad Ali's time. None of that ever happened. He was doing it for a reason. There was a reason that was being done.
And he spoke about it. That was quite evident that people can actually see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And once again, he was an individual that he did it himself.
So you say more of if you're representing a team or organization.
Actually, when he had the summit, when you had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you had Bill Russell, you had Frazier, you had a lot of guys that came together to support him.
Right.
But again, this was a man that was willing. I mean, that's why when you say you're doing it for all the rights, and whether they erase you or not, you can't erase greatness and goodness.
Right.
Because even with Muhammad Ali, people still consider him what?
The greatest.
The greatest of all time.
Of all time.
For what he done.
More so because for what he did. Yeah.
For what he done. He was amazing in the ring.
Everybody else were afraid to speak up and do something about it. That's why.
That's why
everybody. That's why he stepped up above everybody else. And he did it for the grace of God, man. At the end of the day, the things he did, I I respect the man. That was a guy who I used to watch all the time. You know, him and Hulk Hogan. I watched both those guys, and it was just I wanted to mimic that same situation when I got into mixed martial arts.
Mhm.
You understand? I got into fighting because of WWF. I walked into the wrestling room asking the coach, "Where's the ring at, coach?" He's like, "No, this is a totally different sport." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I go, "I can't pick the guy up and slam him." He goes, "Actually, you get points for it." Shit, I was all in. And I started wrestling my freshman year, and I thrived, and I had to do the extra things. I had to do the extra running. I had to do the extra lifting. I had to do the extra drilling. I had to eat correctly. My mom was making pozole and beans and rice and carne asada and like all greasy food. And I was like, I can't eat that, Mom.
So good to me.
Right
You
now.
ain't lying.
Yeah, no, I was like, I can't eat that, Mom. I'm like, I'm eating rice and a chicken breast. I mean, she's like, that's not enough food. I go, it's going to get me through the day because I had to watch my weight. But once again, it was just that stuff that I had that discipline to be better. I had to have that discipline to be better and better as I did things. And it helped me through my whole career because there's some life in general. There's times you got to have discipline to go, nope, you know what? I'm going to get to work. I'm going to work my ass off. And I'm going to make sure I do everything correct. And being a father, I got to make sure I do everything correct. I got to stick to what I'm going to say. And there's a lot of discipline that happens in life that people need to correct themselves and make sure that discipline steps in. And that's what I've learned through wrestling. I've been very fortunate because of it. And watching people like Ali is like, I do it so much as I could literally do with my eyes closed. In wrestling, I would do the same thing. I would drill so much I could do it with my eyes closed. I'm teaching at the high school. I could show the kids a high crotch, a double leg, and a single with my eyes closed. Like, coach, how do you know that? I go, because I've done it 10,000 times. And it goes back to another person I used to love is Michael Jordan. He would shoot a free throw 10,000 times after every practice. I mean, you do it so much, and it's just drilled into your brain of perfection, of doing it over and over perfect. And they say practice makes perfect. That's incorrect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And if you work like that, that's like what makes yourself better every day. And it could be everything. If maybe it's not basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, soccer, but in life in general, if you have that mentality every single day, you wake up and try to do something better and better yourself 1% a day, you could be a better person. And that's what I try to do. And that's what I do with my kids. That's today we're gonna get 1% better. We're gonna learn something to make yourself 1% better. When I get up, I'm gonna be 1% better today. I got here 15 minutes early, and usually I'm right on time. I'm like, I'll be a little better. I'm gonna get here a little earlier. You know, when I work and I'm at the restaurant, I try to clean. I clean a little more. I see a streak on a table. I'm gonna wipe that table down again just so that thing's perfect. So that's the way I want it. I want it perfect. I want everything perfect. Sometimes it isn't perfect, but that's the trial and errors you got to learn to perfect yourself each and every time. And that's what I've been able to do, and that's why I'm sitting where I am right now because I don't have perfection. What I have is a work in progress, and God's blessed me with the things I have. And I think the humility that I really keep down in my heart to understand that I'm no different than anybody else. I just work hard and I try to perfect my life, but I find through problems and I build through them and I make it happen. And I show my kids the same situation so they understand that, yeah, dad works hard and we see it. That's why we want to work hard too. And
speaking of the restaurant, are you good with table numbers and seat positions? If they ask Tito, got to run table 42.
That took me like 4 months.
How hard is
that? Was hard. That was hard. I did every once in a while because I'm like going so fast. I actually got to go 13 because I know where 13. I know where 1 is. But 8 and 9 and 7, those are the ones I always have a little problem with. But
and then position 3, position 7.
Yeah, I sometimes I mess up. That or like at the bar. So at the bar we have L1 and it goes all the way up to L8, and then it goes F1 to F4. Then it goes R1 to R11, and sometimes I'll get mixed up. But like I say, it's a little work in progress. You just got to keep perfecting it.
Cool. Absolutely. Again, we hear great things about your play. Or I know Larry's a freaking visitor. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but me and Tim are going to get up there. Absolutely can't wait to try it. What do you recommend we go in there for the first time to order?
If you like steak fajitas, off the chart. Great. If you like enchiladas, the chicken enchiladas with queso sauce on it, like the bomb. Like it's fire. It's so good. If you like shrimp tacos, we have coconut shrimp tacos. Phenomenal. Margaritas, get the basil blackberry margarita. Everything's fresh. Nothing's frozen.
And I heard Congressman Donald says you have really good salsa.
Yeah, and the salsa's homemade. We make everything in-house. Everything's homemade in-house. The tortillas only are not homemade in-house. They're actually made in Fort Myers. Old lady presses them for us. We get them fresh every other day. So everything's fresh, man. Everything's good.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I
Some
wanted
good groceries, man.
Yeah, I wanted good Mexican food. You know, when I moved to Cape, we tried every Mexican food place in Cape, and there was no Mexican food. And usually Sundays with my family.
Cause you got to go to Mark Lee, man.
Yeah,
Have you been to
that's what I
Mark Lee?
heard. You're the
Yeah.
third person to tell me about
Mark
Mark
Lee.
Lee.
That's
That's a
me
ride.
body, yo.
That's
That's
a
the
little ride.
closest you'll get to Mexico in Florida.
Yes, but the thing is, that's the Gulf Coast, Mexico, like, you know, Matamoros, that area. You know, I know you on that Cali side.
Yeah. I
You know.
mean, Mexico City style, you know, a little
Yeah.
Tijuana too. But we try to find the happy medium in between. You know, and people love their food. Can't please everybody.
What's the biggest challenge you find as being a restaurant owner?
Pleasing everyone.
Well, that's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen. I understand that. I try to tell my partners. I try to tell my employees, we're not going to make.
What about from a staffing standpoint?
Staffing? It actually was hard in the first 4 months, but over the last 7 months, it has gotten really good. We got a solid team. I mean, our manager, you know, Kate, she does an amazing job. Michelle, who's our head cook and general manager, also does a phenomenal job. Like I say, Trevor, gosh, all the girls that work for me doing great. Madison, Skylar, Kayleen, you know, everybody does a really, really good job. Everybody works really, really hard. I have my boys.
And they look like they have fun too.
It's a family. I want to have a family environment.
I mean, you know what, you doing videos,
staff,
sometimes you see in some restaurant videos like, oh, why are you recording? It seems like your staff's always having a lot of fun.
It's like they're glad to go to work. Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking, you know, I know you the owner and everything. I'm just going by what I see while I'm there, just being outside. Like, they welcome everybody. There's always smile. They going far and beyond, man. It's like they really make you feel like,
well, it's family there. Like I said, I mean, even the cooks, you know, Carter and Lyons, you know, I'm back there every single time I walk on the door. I'm saying, what's up, my boy? Hug, shake. Like it's a family when I'm there. One of the other girls, Alyssa, who's a former naval, she was in the Navy, and she's a hard worker also. And it's just having a great family like that. Everybody's like, check your attitude at the door. When you come in, reset. This is a family environment. Let's make everybody feel happy. They feel welcome. And the girls get an opportunity. It's like someone sits down. It's like, oh yeah, you wanted so-and-so. They're like, how'd you know? We got you.
Yeah.
And that's when people, they like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so you get your regulars.
I really just want to make sure that people have fun there. And just the atmosphere there is very nice. The artwork in there is beautiful. The service. So my partner, when I talked to him about this, and he was like, didn't really know who I was. And I said, I want to do a restaurant because there's no Mexican food in there. And he's like, all right. Well, he goes back and talked to some of his family members. They're like, you're going to business with Tito Ortiz? Are you kidding me? He's like, who? Didn't know who I was. We go out the back streets, go play pool and so forth. And everybody's coming up to me. And he's like, who the fuck are you? Tito Ortiz. He's from Canada, so he didn't really understand. And he's a big business guy, a very smart guy. And he goes, all right, everybody knows who you are. They're going to get photos with you. They're going to get pictures with you. You know, they're going to get autographs. He goes, what's going to keep them coming, though? I go, the food is going to be out of this world because no one's going to touch us. The drinks, out of this world. No one's going to touch us. And the service. I want to make sure the service is impeccable. And every time I go to a table, I'm like, how was your night? How was the food? How was the drinks? And people always say, oh, it's okay. Of course, it's me asking them. They're going to say, okay. I go, can you please tell me something that I could make better? I go, I'm an open book. I'm not judging anybody. I go, I want you to tell me what I can do better. And sometimes people go, everything was phenomenal. And sometimes people go, well, I had a little problem with this. I go, tell me. I want feedback, because the more feedback, the more I get to articulate and understand what I can do better the next time. And that's how a good business owner could be thriving in that type of business work, the environment for customers to come in and have everything perfect. And that's the way I wish it could be. But
and let them know where you're located.
I'm in, it's 1334 Southwest Cape Coral Parkway in Cape Coral, Florida.
Tell them Larry Love sent you.
Larry Love sent you.
Politicking podcast sent you. Either or.
Either or.
You know.
Real quick, we only got a couple minutes. What's your prediction for the November election? And they're 0 for 2 now, as Trump put it, on the assassination attempts.
Oh my God, that's scary. I just continue to pray and Trump has God on his shoulder.
Clearly.
And I just hope people wake up and see, were you better now than you were 4 years ago?
And that's what killed me in that debate. I don't think he did that enough. That's all he had to do. And you had 3.5 years to say all these things that you say you want to fix.
I mean, she wants to fix all that stuff, and they've had the last 3.5 years to try to do it.
Yeah.
And people who are in different states, like in Colorado and New York and things like that, look at their communities. They're being destroyed. Half this country is being destroyed right now. And either way, to me, and one of the reasons I do speak out, and I'm Trump 100%, but I live here in Cape Coral and here in Florida, and everybody around here are phenomenal people. And the new saying they say, you fuck around, you find out. Here in Florida, you fuck around, you're going to find out. The police do their job, the sheriffs do their job, everybody in the community, they look out for each other. I'm happy in this bubble, but my fear is the rest of the country. And that's why I left California. I don't want other people to have to leave their state or their city because of the things that are being infiltrated from within. And it's been going on now for the last 3.5 years. And like I say, people say illegal aliens are coming over, and I have no problem against people coming over. Do it the right way, do it the correct way. But now there's people from other countries that are coming over. It's not Mexicans that are coming over here. And there's a lot of gang members. There's a lot of criminals that are coming over and try to spread that same hatred, that same criminalities to this country. I stand for law and order. That's what I believe in. And yeah, there's bad cops, but there's actually good cops that are willing to give their lives to protect their communities. And that's the ones who I love. The ones that try to do it for power, trying to, be an asshole to somebody for no reason. I don't care about those guys. But at the end of the day, man, this country needs help. I hope people wake up. For the future, my children's future, for this country's future, because I've given so much into this government. I just wish we could trust the government again. I wish we could trust mainstream media again. And right now, I have zero trust for either one of them.
Well said.
Besides Byron Donald and Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, and of course Donald Trump,
Corey Mills,
another one. Those people, they stand up and they fight and they continue. Marjorie Taylor Greene, another one. I mean, there's actually a lot of them that are doing it for the right reasons, and I respect it and I love it, and I just praise them, continue to do what they're doing. And for Trump to almost taking 2 bullets now, man, this guy's a billionaire. He don't have to do this shit. People need to understand that. He don't have to do this, but the future of this country depends on it. And I hope people just put their hatred aside and understand what is involved for the future of this country. It's important. I mean, I say that by deep down in my heart. I'm not getting paid for this. No one pays me shit. I do stuff for Kerry Lake in Arizona. I do stuff for Trump. I do stuff for Matt Gaetz when he ran in 2020. I do stuff because people who care about this country are willing to sacrifice everything to protect the future of this country. They're doing what our forefathers fought for, and that's having the sovereignty and the freedom of this country that we need to continue to have.
Well, we appreciate you. I admire the heck out of you, not just for standing up for what you believe in, but what you've been able to overcome, to me, is even more impressive. And you're an inspiration to someone like myself. The way you change your life around, the father you are, and just a great honor having you on the show. You making time out to come on our podcast means a lot to me, and we really appreciate you. And we're very lucky. Southwest Florida is very lucky to have you in our community, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm lucky to be a part of this community. I'm fortunate. It's just the gracious that I've had, the open arms I had when I came here. I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful because I'm able to give my kids, like I say, everything I never had. Safety, roof over their head, food in the refrigerator, clothes on their back, and a smile on their face, and a big hug every time they come home from school saying, son, I love you, I'm proud of you. That's all they need.
You're a good man, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Sure.
Well,
any closing words, Larry Love? Do you want to talk about Florida State or anything?
You want to talk about them 49ers just getting beat by Minnesota?
About Miami.
One of my boys want to go to Florida State.
See, I knew them boys were smart, man.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I wanted to go to Florida State.
You're a smart man, Tito. That's why we here. That's why we here, baby.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, that was back, gosh,
the great
91, 92.
Oh, yeah. That's the glory years.
It was the glory years. I always wanted to go to Florida State. I didn't go to Cal State Bakersfield because it was close to my home in California, Huntington Beach, but I wanted to go to Florida State. But they didn't have a wrestling team, so I knew I couldn't do it. But now, hopefully, they'll be building the wrestling team. That'd be smart if they built the wrestling team. So I don't know if you know any people's there. They need a head coach. You never know.
Well, Larry knows people everywhere.
Me and AD, me and Mike Alpha, we pretty cool. We pretty cool.
Anything what you want to say, Larry? We got about 30 seconds.
No, man, it's just a pleasure having you on the show, but most of all, just having you in Southwest Florida. And, you know, it's a good thing just to be able to call you friend, you being active and, you know, coming from where you come from, the things that you have seen, being a man's man to able to overcome and just keep moving forward, but also instilling those same values, not only in your kids, but also the kids that you come in contact with. Because it's like a virus. It has to grow. You know, if you don't, with other ones, it's just going to die. You know, and we need people like yourself to constantly instill those into other children because it's a real shortage of men out here. And you got a lot of selfish beta boys, as I call them, that just care about themselves and not even the community and not other kids as well, when a lot of kids, unfortunately, are fatherless. Right. Or some homeless and so forth. And when you have that understanding like you have, I have that same type of understanding because of the backgrounds where we share. Just keep moving forward. God gonna keep his hands on you and you're gonna keep thriving. No matter what whomever do or whatever they say, you're gonna always be blessed because you're doing it for the right reasons. To whom much is given, much is required. And great job, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Man. Yeah, appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Episode 10 in the books. Thank you, Jimmy P's Burgers and More, Maxwell Mortgage Team, Becker Custom Homes, and we'll announce the guest for episode 11 coming on Wednesday.
And that's all, folks. As Warner Burgers say, Warner Brothers.